President's recent 2013 budget proposal will put more pressure on our military personnel and their families. The service member's family faces many problems that their civilian counterparts do not face. Long-term deployments, financial pressures, that's just a few of the challenges that they face. In July of 2011, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was created. According to its own website, the CFPB's purpose is to promote fairness and transparency for mortgages, credit cards, and other consumer financial products and services. Our next speaker is an assistant director of this agency. Prior to joining the CFPB, she spent 6 years as the director of the Better Business Bureau's Military Line, a program to provide consumer education and advocacy for service members and their families. She worked with the Defense Department to foster outreach from the 120 local Better Business Bureaus to military communities across the country. She is a summa cum laude graduate of Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. She is also a military spouse of 37 years to someone you may know, General David Petraeus, the current director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Yet she doesn't reside in his shadow. She has extensive experience as a volunteer leader in military family programs and has worked on the local, state, and national levels with legislators on issues affecting Army families. Please join me in giving a warm American Legion welcome to the Assistant Director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Holly Petraeus.
Well, hello, American Legion. This is quite an impressive gathering. I think the last time I was down here was for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so you guys are rivaling the size of that crowd, I think. I would like to thank you for inviting me here to join you today and tell you a little bit about my work at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You know, this isn't my first visit with the American Legion. Earlier this month, I went down to Nashville and gave a talk to your Tennessee department. Anybody from Tennessee in the house today? Oh, good, then we can talk about them. Well, I have to tell you, they are a pretty lively crowd down there. My visit to Nashville did involve a magician, a sing-along, and an Elvis impersonator. So you do have a tough act to follow. And I have to say, the sing-along was in the hospitality suite across from my room until the wee hours of the night. So they had a good time. A good time was had by all, including me. And I am expecting a lot from you here today if you're going to top the hospitality that I got in Tennessee. Seriously, I do think it's fair to say that service members, veterans, and their families have grown to expect a lot from the American Legion. And I don't mean sing-alongs. They know that you've been working on their behalf for over a century, and you can claim some big items in the win column, like the original GI Bill. You've played a vital role in highlighting the needs of America's service members and veterans, delivering resources to support military families, and urging our nation's leaders to action on issues that matter to all those who have worn the uniform of our country. And none of that would have happened without the drive and dedication of all of you in the audience today and those who joined the Legion before you. The simple truth is that the military community, and in many ways America, is better off today because of your efforts. So I say thank you for all your hard work and congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. But you and I know that we can't rest on our laurels. There's always more work that needs to be done. Today, there are more than 2.2 million active Guard and Reserve members serving in the U.S. military. Of that number, it's possible that as many as 100,000 will be transitioned back to civilian life as the military downsizes over the next few years. That means there's going to be an urgent need for advocacy, policies, resources, and even legislation to support the personal and professional aspirations of those who have served. Addressing that need is your mission, and it's also part of mine at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB. Let me tell you a little bit about the CFPB, where I'm the Assistant Director for Servicemember Affairs. The CFPB's mission is to help consumer financial markets work by making financial rules more effective, by consistently and fairly enforcing those rules, and by empowering consumers to take more control over their economic lives. Our vision is a consumer finance marketplace where customers can see prices and risks up front and where they can easily make product comparisons, where no one can build a business model around unfair, deceptive, and abusive practices, and where the market works for American consumers, responsible providers, and the economy as a whole. The CFPB has the power to enforce federal consumer financial laws, to prevent unfair, deceptive, and abusive practices, and to examine a wide range of financial services companies. It also does research and issues regulations and guidance to promote fairness, transparency, and competition in markets for mortgages, credit cards, and other consumer financial products and services. And it provides consumer assistance and education as well. Within the CFPB, the job of the Office of Servicemember Affairs is to see that military personnel and their families receive a strong financial education, to monitor their complaints about consumer financial products and services and the responses to those complaints, and to coordinate the efforts of federal and state agencies to improve consumer protection measures for military families. And we're authorized to enter into agreements with the Department of Defense to carry out our work. I should add that my office's definition of military does include retirees and veterans. Everything my staff and I do is geared towards ensuring that the men and women who serve this country have every available tool and resource they need to combat consumer fraud and enable their lifelong financial well-being. And I think the American Legion and the Office of Servicemember Affairs have a lot in common. We are both focused on increasing protections for service members, veterans, and their families. In fact, in the past year, my office has actively engaged in 3 areas that you also passed resolutions on last year. First, concerns about for-profit colleges that aggressively target service members and veterans. Second, the impact of the housing downturn on the military community. And finally, the importance of hiring veterans. On the first issue, I know that the GI Bill is particularly close to the American Legion's heart. After all, you did write the first draft back in 1944. And I know that the American Legion has worked steadily to defend and expand those rights in the years since 1944. Like me, in the past year, you've expressed your concern over seeing a huge share of military education benefits going to a small number of for-profit colleges that want those military dollars and have the marketing machine to get them. Service members and veterans, and now their families who may share in those benefits, deserve to know all the facts about the college that is recruiting them before they sign on the dotted line. They should be able to comparison shop for the best quality education possible at the best price possible, rather than being sold by a military-friendly marketing pitch and sometimes steered into harmful private student loans because their military benefits will not cover the full cost. The GI Bill, thank you. The GI Bill is a wonderful benefit that should lead to a secure financial future, not a load of debt or a useless degree. And we stand with you in our determination to see that service members and veterans are able to use their GI Bill benefits in the best way possible for them. On the second issue, homeownership has always been part of the American dream. Like their fellow citizens, millions of service members and veterans have bought homes. Unfortunately, like many Americans today, many military and veterans now find themselves in jeopardy of losing those precious homes. And active duty military homeowners are particularly hard hit when they are underwater on their mortgage and then get orders to move. I've been working hard here in Washington to raise awareness about military-specific challenges to home ownership, speaking to legislators, federal agencies, including the VA, government-sponsored entities like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the financial community. And we've seen some progress. including the fact that there were military provisions announced in the large mortgage settlement a few weeks ago between 5 of the largest banks and 49 of 50 state attorneys general. But like you, I will continue working to ensure that military families get all the help they need to stay in their homes. And on the third issue, hiring veterans, anyone familiar with the military services and the quality of people they produce will tell you that service members and veterans bear a range of experiences, qualities, and qualifications that can make them amazing employees. The CFPB takes hiring veterans very seriously. In fact, our Chief Human Capital Officer is a veteran himself. In my office, I have a staff of 6. All but 2 are veterans, and we have representation from the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. And a military spouse. That would be me. I'm also working with the Department of Defense to have a wounded warrior join my team through the Operation Warfighter program. Throughout the CFPB, there are many veterans on the staff, close to 100 now. We will continue recruiting veterans and encourage others to do the same. But we must also ensure that service members think about how their personal financial landscape will change when they leave the service and see that they are properly educated to ensure their financial well-being when that day comes. Financial education needs to start long before they leave the military and should continue as they move through life's milestones. So, I know you're here in Washington to take the hill, but I hope you'll also let veterans know that the CFPB is also here in Washington and what we do. Please tell them to go to our website, consumerfinance.gov, and take a look around. I hope all of you will, too. We have resources for them, and we also invite them to tell their story to us about their experience with consumer financial products and companies. They can also file a formal complaint if they've had a credit card or mortgage problem, and we'll be adding more categories to the complaint system as we go along. And filing a complaint does make things happen. My office monitors the military complaints, and in our first 6 months, we've been able to recoup a significant amount of money for service members and veterans who brought their complaints to us. Our unofficial motto at the CFPB is Lead, Serve, Innovate. I think it could be the American Legion's, too. Thank you for all you've done for those who served our country, and for your own service as well. Keep on taking the lead and charging up that hill. Keep serving our nation's military and veterans. Keep thinking up innovative ways to reach out to them and to see that their needs are met. You are a force to be reckoned with, and I have full confidence that you will succeed in all that you undertake. Thank you.